Oh, yes, I would. Yes, I would. The little baby's barking, as usual, when I'm going to go live. All right. I get all these junky texts. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Excuse me. I'll wait for people to jump on. Is there anyone there yet? Oh, hello there, Tatiana. Oh, you're always, well, I guess you get the message, so you jump right in. Thank you. I'll wait for another person to jump on. There's a few more people to hop on. Meanwhile, I want to see this. I got an invitation. Now all these too much junk mail. All right. Anyway. All right. There we go. So I have not, whenever I come on here, I never have looked up the information first. I like to look it up when you guys come on. I'm wearing one contact lens so I can see close and I can see far. But I sometimes get mixed up. And that way I have to wear my glasses. Oh, and I'm not a chocolate person. I usually don't crave chocolate, but today I did. And on top of that, I went to Walgreens and it was on half price. It was $5 for 22 pieces of chocolate. And I got the dark chocolate. So I'm doing an unofficial candy attack. And here's the cheat sheet on the back. It tells you what flavors. So I should do a separate, but I just feel like having them, and I should eat a salad. I've got that salad, but anyway, so while we're waiting for a couple or two more people. So the defense rests. No, not the defense. The prosecution rests. The state has rested. So we'll see what, let's see. Now, I guess the defense is going to go on after lunch. Down there in Texas, it's about noon, isn't it? Let me see what time it is in Texas. They're probably on their lunch break now. And then after lunch, the defense will probably start their argument. So Texas time zone. One second. I have to go down here to get close so I can see. Oops. So in Texas right now, it's only an hour earlier. It's 2:11. Most of Texas. I think this is in Austin. I'm just going to say, what time is it in Austin? What time is it in Austin? I thought it's 2:12. Okay, I guess I thought it was 3 hours earlier, but that's California. I thought Texas was close to California. My geography's off. It's only an hour difference from us over here, and on the East Coast, it's 3:12. So it's only 1 hour difference. So maybe they're just getting back from lunch, let's say. So anyway, we don't know. But let's see what they have to say. I'll share my screen. Maybe I should put both contact lenses on. I really can't see very, very well. I'm wearing the contact lens in this eye. All right. Let's see. Kaitlin Armstrong. So let me share the screen. You know what? While we're waiting for one or two people. No, never mind. Let's just go right into it. I was going to say we could follow the Brian Kohlberger trial on lawyer Mark, who's doing the Kohlberger trial, but never mind. You guys, I'm not really interested in the Brian Kohlberger trial. I am, but I'm not. It's too gross, I mean, not that it's any less gross what we're covering, but for some reason it's just, both are sick, but I think a love triangle murder is more normal than a serial killer, because that's a serial killer. he just killed for no reason. He barely knew the people apparently, or I think he had a interaction with one of the girls on Instagram or something, or he wrote to her and she never wrote back, something like that. But he sounds like he's an incel, that Brian Kohlberger guy. All right, share the screen. So present. Let me see here. No, try again. Present, share screen, window. I'm going to say entire screen or window. I don't know what the difference is. All right. Okay. So here, Armstrong has pleaded not guilty. Okay, we know that. Who's Kaitlin Armstrong news? Okay. Kaitlin Armstrong murder trial evidence. Bombshells mount in pro cyclist killing. State rests. Here we go. That was 3 hours ago. Let me quick look at this one first. Yoga teacher Kaitlin Armstrong is accused of gunning down. Blah, blah, blah. This is an excerpt from our excerpt. Oh, how do I close that? All right. The last thing. Oh, this is all repeats. The sounds of those screams. No, I want to go back to the defense. The state rests. So pleaded not guilty. Okay, so here we go. The state rest. This is Yahoo News. I got to find that one that we were using yesterday that's in backwards chronological order. Could it be this one? Because I remember it was Yahoo. I think this is the one. The state rested its case. Key point. Yeah, this is the one that kind of gives you an update at the top. I really like the format of this one. And then key points, and then it gives you the backwards chronological. So let me go. Let me open this first. Okay, it's got plastic on it. Oh, she's a little kooky today. There's 2 layers. There's 22 pieces in total. Actually, let's see what you're looking at before I read. What are you guys seeing here? Okay. Oh, you can't really see. 2 people. Let me know if you want me to go on full screen. So there's 2 layers. There's this layer. And then there's, oh, it smells so good. Oh, and then there's another layer with more paper. It looks, oh, it's the same exact as the top layer. It's the same setup and the same kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's only 11 kinds, 2 of each. Okay. So I think I'll take this one with the stripes. All right. Oops. I forgot to put this back. Oh, it's kind of marshmallow in the middle. This is the vanilla cream. One more, and then we'll start reading. I'm not going to cheat. The square ones are usually chewy. It's not very chewy. It's a little chewy. And this one is yeah, it says caramel, but it's soft caramel. All right. I'm gonna eat the whole box. All right, I'm gonna start reading the updates. Cold coffee. Mm. Chocolate bonbons with milk would be yummy too. Okay, so we're gonna read kind of the excerpts. Okay, there's the three people involved: the accused, the victim, and the love interest. Prosecutors in the trial of yoga teacher Kaitlin Armstrong. I shouldn't eat if I'm. Let me move this over here. Prosecutors in the trial of yoga teacher Kaitlin Armstrong over the murder of rising cyclist Anna Mariah Wilson have rested their case. My tongue hurts because I had one of those sour things. I tried one of those earlier. I had another one. Ms. Armstrong is accused of the 11th May 2022 murder of Wilson, who prosecutors have described as her love rival. The two women were reportedly involved in a love triangle with Ms. Armstrong's then on and off again boyfriend and Wilson's fellow cyclist, Colin Strickland. Okay, we know this stuff. In the aftermath of the shooting, I'm a little tired. Ms. Armstrong fled to Costa Rica and was captured 5 weeks later. The state rested its case on Wednesday morning, after introducing testimony from Mr. Strickland, Ms. Cash, friends of Ms. Armstrong, and law enforcement personnel, including a U.S. Marshal agent who aided in Ms. Armstrong's arrest overseas. Medical examiner Bernadette DeRusi, the doctor who performed Wilson's autopsy, testified on Tuesday about her role in the investigation and the injuries that Wilson sustained. Wilson first suffered a gunshot wound to the right side of the face, with the bullet exiting on the left side of her jaw. The second gunshot was to the right side of the head and exited beneath the chin. I just don't understand. Went like this. I guess she was running and she was stumbling. Maybe because her head had to have been lower at that point. Maybe she was running and stumbling. And then, so it went in and she was lower than the, what do you call it? The murderess. And maybe she stumbled to the bathroom and fell on her back. Maybe she was already dead by the second one. We don't know. It depends what it hit. And then the third shot. So, all right. So the third shot was fired at Wilson's chest and exited through the back. The key players in the deadly love triangle at the center of the trial. Former friend of Kaitlin Armstrong recalls death threats. Kaitlin Armstrong confronted Mariah Wilson on the phone. Ex-boyfriend Colin Strickland says. Armstrong's ex clashes with media at court. The last thing Mo did on the circuit was screaming terror. Okay. Oh, wait, I gotta hide this thing. Okay. Oh, bummer. I forgot to, when I went on. Oh, wait, but I can't. Remember yesterday, Owen Cash asked me to put that heart, turn it off, but I don't see how I can. Oh, I think I can, but I got to do it before I go live. All right. I'm a little slow. Slow today, guys. Oh, let me see if anyone's chatting. No one. Okay. 2 people. Okay, good. It's my usual crowd. So we want to go in. This is in backwards chronological order. I want to pick up where we left off. So will not erase some. Print not found at the scene. Fingerprint exit first witness. State rests its case. Final screams. Love rival. Harrowing 911. So at 9, okay. Day 7. That was yesterday. Wait a minute. 5. Miss Strickland initial remarks to the court about he and Miss Armstrong took a turn on Monday. He seemingly tried to distance himself from the disgraced yoga teacher. You know Kaitlin Armstrong very well, don't you, Miss Armstrong? See, this is all new. Maybe she's filling in the blanks from what she's already. A boarding pass flight. Yeah, this is all new. Tuesday, November 14th. That was yesterday. But then she might have gone back and refilled it in. Miss Mazak is now going over their movements. Oh, all right. Maybe I'm just going to, you know what? Rather than find it, I'll just go in backwards chronological order. And then when it starts to sound familiar, we'll stop. It doesn't matter. But just bear in mind that the witnesses I'm calling out, I'm going backwards from the latest witness backwards because it's too hard to try to find where we left off and go up. So, all right. So Mariah Wilson's, no, it's way up here. So, okay, see, and I still don't know what these numbers are about. 1724, it seems it would be 524, but if we're talking about today, that wouldn't be right. So, the state is now trying to question Mr. Quartato on the possibility and probability of Ms. Armstrong's DNA being unknowingly transferred through a second party. Mr. Quartato says it is more likely to shed DNA when someone is nervous and sweating, but can't say how Ms. Armstrong's DNA got there. The defense redirects and asks Mr. Quartato whether it's possible Ms. Armstrong's sweat DNA from the motorcycle helmet could have transferred to Wilson's bike. He says it is. Defense argues that DNA may have transferred to the bike. I mean, what are you guys seeing? I don't want to. Oh, you do see me there. Let me go back a little bit. I'm trying to be. Okay, sweetie pie. No barking. No barking. A third male. All right. State redirects. I don't know who Mr. Quartato is. I think Mr. Quartato must be the defense lawyer. No, Quartato's a unless he's a. I'm not really good today. I'm tired and my arm hurts. All right. There was also DNA from a third male individual on the bike's handlebar, but DNA analysts were unable to build a profile with it. A third DNA profile was also found on the seat. Mr. Quartato says he can only say with certainty that the unknown DNA does not belong to Wilson, Ms. Armstrong, or Mr. Strickland, or Kaitlin Cash. He also admits that it is impossible to know whether Ms. Armstrong's DNA was found on the bike because she touched it or because it transferred. The defense has tried to argue before that Ms. Armstrong's DNA might have ended on the bike because Wilson rode Mr. Strickland's bike that night. Okay. Forensic DNA consultant Matthew Quartato takes the stand. He's a forensic. Okay. The defense is honing in on the presence of another DNA profile on the weapon believed to have been used in Wilson's murder. Mr. Quartato agrees that with the defense that DNA samples and testing can't conclude how DNA got to the item that was swabbed. The expert also notes that only one swab was used for different areas of the weapon, and it is impossible to tell where exactly in the weapon was Ms. Armstrong's DNA. Ms. Armstrong stone cold throughout the trial. When asked by prosecutors if Ms. Armstrong seems tense, Officer Niels says that she looks as calm and collected as she did on May 12, 2022. Mr. Capriello describes Ms. Armstrong's demeanor during the 2.5 weeks of trial as emotionless and stone cold. No, I think she has emotions, or she wouldn't have gotten jealous. But, oh goodness. Let me have another candy. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like I'm falling asleep. I don't know what's going on. Oh, let's see which one. I think I'll take this rectangular one now. It's kind of caramel too. Oh, there's a cheat in the cover. Chocolate covered peanuts. No. I guess it's a nut caramel. Peanut caramel. This one's the nut caramel. And then there's I shouldn't have gotten this. All right. That's a nut caramel. All right. What are you looking at? She smells the wrapper. Dogs can't eat chocolate. It's poisonous to them. Nope. But I'll give you dinner at 5. You want some liver? Say hi to our friends. I know, but you can't have any. Smells good though, right? Poor baby. You want to lay on the couch here? All right. ADP Officer Niels. ADP Officer Niels has now taken the stand. He arrested Ms. Armstrong on a theft of service warrant a day after the murder. She stole Botox. She got Botox injections and told them, oh, I left my credit card in the car. She left. She never paid. So she's a theft of service. So I guess they still didn't have enough to arrest her on the murder, but they, used the theft of service as an excuse to, bring her back. Okay, sweetie, what's happening? All right, you're going on the floor. If you're going to growl, you're going down there because I don't want to get bitten again. She's being a bad girl again. All right. Ms. Armstrong was released after the arrest, after the detective who questioned her claimed there was an error with her date of birth. Said detective admitted last week that there was never an error, and it remains unclear why she let Ms. Armstrong free. Maybe it was someone who felt sorry for her, another woman who kind of understood her. Chocolate nut fudge. That's a chocolate nut fudge. I'm not a chocolate lover. I mean, I like chocolate, but when I crave chocolate, I just I overdo it. I can't just do something a little bit. I either have to go overboard or I just don't do it, When the defense suggests that Ms. Armstrong was handcuffed and arrested by 2 officers to instill fear in her, Officer Niels says she seemed calm that day. Pineapple juice is a weak acid, will not erase someone's fingerprints, witness says. Obviously. If it were, I mean, maybe she's not as smart as I thought she was. I mean, there's no reason for me to think she's smart, but, you know, she got a passport, she fled the country, you know, that sounds kind of smart. But she thought pineapple juice could erase fingerprints. I mean, if pineapple juice could erase fingerprints, we wouldn't be able to eat it or drink it because we would burn ourselves inside out. How stupid. Maybe she's stupid. I mean, just because you can pass a real estate exam, that just takes studying. But it doesn't take logic necessarily. Yeah, no math. I passed the real estate exam. It's expired now. Because she's a real estate agent. That's why I know. So to pass a real estate exam, you got to be kind of smart. I mean, you got to be of average intelligence and be able to study and do a little math. But maybe she just got no logic. Let me just think. Now, Google. Pineapple juice. All right. Why didn't she wear gloves? That's my still. I'm saying it wasn't very premeditated. It was sort of, I think still to this day, she went over to scare the girl and it got out of hand. Because premeditated, she would have thought to wear gloves. I mean, even someone who's never murdered before, you know you're supposed to wear gloves. She killed her like unexpectedly. She killed her on purpose. That I think she started and she just couldn't stop herself. It's just like something went off and she's like, oh, it feels so good, you know, because she hated her so much. So she didn't mean to, like she didn't plan on doing it, but when she started it, she liked it too much. I think that's what happened. What was that one? That was just chocolate. A solid chocolate. Oh my gosh, guys. I need some milk. I'm sorry. Oh, that's rich. And you know what? Those megabyte sours, those mega sours. I mean, if you're curious, get them, but get the smallest bag possible because they're not pleasant. They're fun to try like 1 or 2 times. I had another one today. It just, your tongue hurts afterwards. My tongue hurts. And now I can't enjoy the chocolates because it feels like my tongue is burnt. The other day I had 3 and my tongue hurt, but I thought I could handle 1. But it's not pleasant. Or get the bag and just keep them around to, you know, when you have a newcomer to your home, say, hey, try this, you know, and it's just fun to watch, you know, let them know. I think it would be mean to offer a candy to someone and not warn them. But let me see if I can put on the air now too. Oh, it's on 77. Why is it so hot? It's not that hot in here. I always get, oh, well, that light is on. I don't know. All right, anyway. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not focused today. I'm a little bit all over the place. All right, let me check the chat. Oh, look at those pretty shoes. Oh, I like those shoes. Look at that. $50.99. Is that Style We? Style We always has such beautiful clothes. I've never bought from them before, but I love the pictures anyway. How are you today? I'm fine, Coaster Corner. I had a craving for chocolate and I went to Walgreens and the Whitman sampler is on half price. It's usually $10. You guys, if you want to get one, it's usually $10. It was $5 today plus tax. So I said, oh, good. I was craving chocolate, and by coincidence, the witness sampler is half price. Oh, let's keep reading. This one, I'm on that Yahoo. So, pineapple juice is a weak acid, will not erase someone's fingerprints, witness says. The state has brought up Ms. Armstrong's searches while on the run in Costa Rica on whether pineapple juice could erase fingerprints. Ms. Legron said fingerprints can only be altered through deep scarring. You would have to hold on to a pineapple for an exceedingly long time for it to wear away. Yeah, your fingerprints. Yeah, you would need some really like hydrochloric acid, but it would leave you deformed. It would probably burn up your hand and leave you deformed. Or your, anyway, don't do it. And it was not even found at the scene, so it was for naught. Her search. Ms. Legron says that most of the prints lifted from the door's exterior and interior were inconclusive, meaning they could not be compared to Ms. Armstrong's. Other prints were excluded from the defendant. When asked if she was asked to compare the collected prints with Wilson's or Ms. Cash's, Ms. Legron said she is not sure who they are. Okay, so maybe she did wear gloves. I mean, there were no fingerprints, but if she's Googling, can it get rid of prints, then that's what makes me think she didn't wear gloves. Otherwise, why would she worry about it, even though they didn't find prints? Fingerprint expert, first witness for the defense. Oh, okay. So the defense did already start. So the fingerprint witnesses for the defense. See, we're going backwards here. So that's why I wish we could go. Yeah, I wish I could, but I'm too lazy to. I'll finish this about the fingerprint. Aaron Legron, a senior fingerprint examiner with the Austin Forensic Department, is the first witness called by the defense. See, it's hard when you're going backwards. We got to find out where we left off yesterday. See, he doesn't know her very well. Items found. Okay, this we knew. A receipt for $6,350. Rhinoplasty procedure. See, Tuesday. This was from yesterday. But I think they filled in more stuff. Criminal analyst. See, this is from yesterday, but this wasn't. Oh, you know why? Because I was on and the day had not ended yet. So this continued. So cell phone data from Ms. Armstrong's phone. There's a lot of stuff. Wow. I'm gonna zoom through it then. See, all this is from yesterday. We left off at about here. Jerusi, who did the autopsy. Okay. All right, there. Sheriff's officer recounts the failed escape. I think we kind of knew that. She ran away. They caught her quickly. Forensic scientist Andrea Gill collected DNA samples from Kaitlin Armstrong, Colin Strickland. The people asked to provide DNA were chosen by ADP. I don't know. Oh, I don't know who ADP is. Samantha Perkins, a DNA supervisor with the Texas, was tasked with interpreting the data obtained from the DNA analysis run by Ms. Gill. Oh, okay. We read that yesterday. Yeah, we read this part. It was on the seat. Cell phone data. We didn't read this. Okay, so yesterday, after we finished our, this is what happened next. So criminal analyst Pamela Mazax takes a stand to explain Kaitlin Armstrong's cell records. Authorities pulled data from the calls to recreate a map of Ms. Armstrong and all their moves, where everybody went. According to the information analyzed by Ms. Armstrong called Wilson on October 28th. So Kaitlin Armstrong called her on October 28th, 2021. Earlier, the court heard that was the day Ms. Armstrong texted Ms. Strickland, I know you know better than to show up at Meteor with that girl. Oh, okay. The call between Wilson and her alleged murderer lasted a minute and a half. Ms. Armstrong, 23-minute phone call with her sister under cross-examination of the defense. Yeah, so she probably called her, said, stay away from my boyfriend, blah, 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 a few cuss words, The defense then brings up the possibility of DNA transfer. Previously, Ms. Armstrong's attorney. Yeah, the defense is kind of attacking the DNA stuff. Yeah, then rode the Ms. transferred to Ms. Wilson's when the latter rode on Mr. Strickland's motorcycle and wore his helmet. Okay. Yeah, it could be. Kaitlin Armstrong tracked Wilson's Strava profile. We knew that. Ms. Strickland later confronted Ms. Armstrong about her call to Wilson in a text. Sorry, I can't talk right now. Data pulled from Ms. Armstrong's phone also shows that she viewed Wilson's Strava profile once times on May 9, 2022, 2 days before the murder, and 4 times the following day. Eek. Kaitlin Armstrong's movements on May 2022. I can't concentrate. Coconut cream. It tastes like a Mounds bar. Miss Strickland arrived. This stuff we know. They went out. Colin Strickland dropped Mo Wilson off at her friend's house. Ms. Armstrong stayed home until almost 6:55 p.m. 7:30 p.m. her phone gets turned off. It gets turned back on at 9:35 p.m. The murder happened during that time. Mr. Strickland dropped off Ms. Wilson at around 8:30 p.m. Miss Armstrong's Jeep, which had been parked in an alley near Ms. Cash's home. So she was there waiting for her. Kaitlin Armstrong, the accused, left her house at about 7:30, or her phone turned off at 7:30. So I'm going to assume that's when she left her home, and then she went and she waited in an alley by the house where she knew the girl was staying. Then Mr. Strickland, they're back from their date. Colin Strickland drops off Mo Wilson at about 8:30. When did her phone get turned on? At 9:16. So 8:30. So the murder happened between 8:30 and 9:16. It happened at 9:16. A surveillance video from a nearby home captured gunshot wounds and a woman's scream at 9:16. So she gets dropped off at 8:30. I wonder what happened in between that time. Wilson uses her phone and sends her last message at 9:13. So at some point, maybe Kaitlin Armstrong is assuming she's the murderess. He's getting up the courage, or I don't know. And it was completely unexpected. Within 3 minutes, she was dead. She sent her message at 9:13. Everything's normal. At 9:16, you hear the screams. So it was quick. It was very quick. Within a minute, like it happened. She appears, kills her, and leaves. It all happened within a minute. It was shot, 45 seconds, another shot. So it took a minute. A minute and a half. The whole thing was over. So it wasn't like they were in there arguing for a while. No, she went there to kill her then. For it to be, so. 9:13, let's say she appeared at 9:14. Okay, let's say she appeared at 9:14, but within 3 minutes. 9:13 that it was sent. Let's say she went in there, confronted her, they argued a little bit. But you think some of the surveillance around might have heard them arguing. Somebody might have heard them arguing, unless it was, I don't know. At 9:43, the Jeep stops at a dumpster for 3 minutes and then heads back to Mr. Strickland, heads to Mr. Strickland. Yeah, 9:55. So yeah, it was very quick. I'm not sure what to think about that, but because first I was saying, oh, she just went to scare her, which is still could be true. I mean, things can escalate quickly. Maybe she's like, hey, I told you not to talk to my boyfriend. What are you talking about? Get the heck away from me. What are you doing here? Maybe didn't know she had a gun, and then she pulled out the gun. Something like that. Maybe the gun was hidden. It still could be that they, she went to threaten her and it escalated quickly. But it happened very quickly if it did escalate. Criminal analyst under cross-examination by the defense. So under cross-examination by the defense, Ms. Are you drinking them? You're drinking my milk? I think she's drinking my milk. Baby girl, you got your milk. I think she might have drunk it. And I'm not grossed out by it. I would actually, maybe you guys are grossed out, so I won't do it in front of you guys, but I would actually drink the milk that she drank. But I don't think milk is good for dogs. Because when she was a puppy, it might have been good. But let me go change the milk for you guys. Because if I were alone, I would drink the milk. But I could boil it and drink my milk. Okay. You be a bad girl. You're being a bad girl. She stole my milk. Okay, that was cute. Because I have a low table, but she can just about reach up there. I might consider using that as a feeder to feed her. Okay, let me check the chat. No, nothing new. All right, let's get back to this. Under cross-examination by the defense, Ms. Mazak admits that the location obtained by the cell phone data is general and not precise. The expert tells the court her analysis is also not conclusive as to whether Ms. Armstrong was the one driving her Jeep that night of Wilson's murder. When asked if anyone had tried to corroborate what Ms. Armstrong was doing that night, Ms. Mazak said she was not aware. So the lawyer might try to argue, yeah, you saw her Jeep. That doesn't mean she was driving it. Now, we know Colin Strickland, I think, has an alibi, so they can't accuse Colin Strickland. But who else would be driving her Jeep? Or Kaitlin Armstrong could say, hey, I loaned my Jeep to XYZ, whoever. All right. We know from information mentioned earlier in the trial and from reports following Wilson's murder that she was confronted about surveillance video of her Jeep near the crime scene. However, she did not seem to have ever provided an alibi. Ms. Mazak also said she doesn't know if APD checked for surveillance near the area where Ms. Armstrong's phone was turned off. I don't know what APD is. Maybe a security service. Criminal analyst places Ms. Armstrong's phone in her Jeep. Under a redirect from prosecutors, Ms. Mazak confirms that while she does not know who exactly was driving the Jeep on the night of the murder, whoever was carrying Ms. Armstrong's cell phone was with them. Whoever was carrying Ms. Armstrong's cell phone with them. So, yes, somebody came, took her Jeep, took her phone, killed, or, no proof of that either, but she concludes that she does not believe it was Colin Strickland because he was at home using his cell phone at the time of the killing. Well, maybe they switched cell phones, sure, there's all this. Here's a recap. Court adjourned for the day. Okay, so that was the end of Tuesday. Ms. Mazak had been dismissed as a witness and court adjourned for the day. All right. So now this is beginning of this morning. So this morning, items found in Ms. Armstrong's hiding place in Costa Rica. So when they went and they got her in Costa Rica, a receipt for $6,350 rhinoplasty procedure under the name Allison Page. She had rhinoplasty under a fake name. A boarding pass for a flight booked for Kaitlin Armstrong, which is her sister's name, from Newark to San Jose. Prosecutors have previously said it appears Ms. Armstrong used her sister's passport. That's so cool. I used to live 30 minutes from Newark Airport. We used to go to Newark Airport to fly places, where I grew up. A boarding pass for a flight booked for Kaitlin Armstrong from Christine Elizabeth Armstrong's passport, U.S. dollars, foreign currency, and medication, credit cards, SIM cards, and phones. Defense says Armstrong fled the country after the shooting because she likes to travel. Yeah, we heard that. The murder case drew international headlines when Ms. Armstrong fled the country after her initial meeting with police just days after the fatal shooting, leading to a 43-day search. In short opening statement at the trial, defense attorney Jeffrey Poirier suggested Ms. Armstrong's sudden flight out of the country was not an attempt to escape justice. She would have no reason to know about any arrest warrant. Okay, we knew this part already. He also said Armstrong was caught in a web of circumstantial evidence. And no video evidence or witnesses can put Armstrong at the scene. And that's true. It's all circumstantial. Investigators said she sold her vehicle for $12,000 and fled the country using her sister's name, email. Why would she use her sister's name and get a nose job and all that? This is orange cream. It's going to be orange. No. Federal authority. Stop it. I always talk with my mouth full. Baby girl, stop barking. Sometimes she hears the neighbor's dog. Wait a minute. Federal authorities tracked Ms. Armstrong to Costa Rica, where prosecutors said she spent $6,425. And down here it says $6,350 for surgery to change her appearance and use several aliases while attempting to establish herself as a yoga instructor. Maybe she was planning to spend the rest of her life teaching yoga in Costa Rica if they never found her. She also had cut and darkened her hair and had a bandage on her nose and discoloration under her eyes when arrested at a beachside hostel. She told police when she was arrested that she was injured in a surfing accident. Colin Strickland says he doesn't know Armstrong very well. And, I believe him. They were very together, moved in together, whatever. But obviously he didn't know her very well. I mean, suddenly she's killed someone. He probably never imagined that. So Mr. Strickland's initial remarks to the court, and they only knew each other about 2 years. They met in 2019 or 2020? They met a little before COVID. They spent COVID together. She moved in during the when the Texas, they've known each other now. I mean, by the time she killed his friend, they'd only known each other about 2 years, which isn't that much. And they got too hot and heavy too fast, and she moved in quickly within the year of meeting him. So, Mr. Strickland's initial remarks to the court about he and Ms. Armstrong loving each other but not being compatible long-term took a turn on Monday after he seemingly tried to distance himself from the disgraced yoga teacher. Yeah, he now realized, but I believe him. He thought he knew her. So when it first happened, he's like, oh gosh, I even remember reading somewhere that he had said she's a very calm woman, you know. But now he realizes he didn't know her. You never really know someone until you've been with them like many, many years, maybe. All right. You know Kaitlin Armstrong very well, don't you? Mr. Armstrong's attorney asked during cross-examination on Monday, 6th of November. No, I do not, Mr. Strickland answered, prompting an audible gasp in the court, according to news reporter Alex Caprariello, who was in the room. Well, yeah, no, I believe him. He thought he knew her, and he really now realizes after all these, months that that she killed his friend, that he didn't really know her. All right, now we're going to say missed signs of Armstrong's plans to flee. Mr. Strickland and Ms. Armstrong were told about Wilson's murder by Austin police detectives on May 12th, 2022. How come that's happening? All right. Just a day after the murder. Body cam footage shown to the court reportedly showed that the two seemed shocked after learning the tragic news. Mr. Strickland later joined investigators at the police station, where he gave a statement for nearly 6 hours. The following day, authorities served a search warrant and seized weapons from his home. All that's left is this nutty, and then I have the second level, but I'm not going to eat the second level. This is the cashew cluster. And then I just have chocolate-covered peanuts. But I'm not going to eat those chocolate-covered peanuts. Enough. I'm getting full. The cashew cluster. You guys can read along. Goofball. I don't want to talk with chocolate all in my mouth. I gotta go rinse my mouth with some more milk. I'm chewing gum, so maybe I'll do a little snapping. Okay. Mr. Strickland and Ms. Armstrong were told about Wilson's murder by Austin police detectives on May 12th. They were shocked. They joined investigators. Mr. Strickland joined investigators. He was, statement for 6 hours. Remember, seized the weapons. Crime scene specialist Miretza Guevara testified on November 3rd that while she was taking pictures of the firearms evidence and Ms. Armstrong's black Jeep, she also noted Ms. Armstrong's passport and foreign currency inside their home. An attorney representing both Mr. Strickland and Ms. Armstrong was present while the warrant was being served. The investigators did not ask to interview Ms. Armstrong. However, they did ask Mr. Strickland about her black Jeep, the same model of car seen on the surveillance footage near the home where Wilson was found. Yeah, they spotted her Jeep. And then by coincidence, when they went to the house, they saw the same Jeep. So Mr. Strickland suggested during his testimony that the investigators knew it belonged to Ms. Armstrong. Mr. Strickland said that after he was interviewed and the warrant was served, he and Ms. Armstrong were exhausted. He asked her to write a timeline of her activities on the day and reportedly said she went to yoga and visited a healer, but made no mention of seeing Wilson. He then went to his business headquarters in Lockhart and did not see Ms. Armstrong again. On 14th May, Ms. Armstrong took a flight from Austin to Houston. She was found in Costa Rica 43 days later. Oh, I hit that by accident. Oh, darn it. I lost the... There it is. I lost my page. Okay. This one, that one. Wait a minute. I lost my place. Okay. Here we go. Mr. Strickland said that after he was interviewed and the warrant served, he went to his business headquarters. Okay. Love rival murder, harrowing 911 call, and bike DNA. Kaitlin Armstrong faces up to 99 years in prison if she's convicted of killing professional cyclist Anna Mo Wilson after they were allegedly involved in a love triangle. All right, we saw this. We saw that. Final screens captured on video surveillance, but just the sound. Yeah, we knew this part. So there were screams, pop, pop. Then seconds. Oh, I thought it was 45 seconds later. Okay, somewhere we read, if you all remember, and if you don't, or if you do remember, tell me. I thought we read somewhere that it was 2 shots and 45 seconds later, a third shot. But now it's saying it was seconds after those shots. Yes, seconds, 45 seconds after those shots. But they're saying no, they're not saying how many seconds on this article. Okay. Kaitlin Armstrong said in so many words that she wanted to kill Wilson. Nicole Mertz, a close friend of Ms. Armstrong, was called to the stand on Wednesday, November 8th. Oh, that was last week, not this Wednesday. Ms. Mertz said that her friend and Mr. Strickland often broke up and got back together, and that he referred to Ms. Armstrong as his lady friend. Ms. Mertz went on to recount that Ms. Armstrong once said that if Mr. Strickland dated another woman, he would kill her. So the friend thought, my first thought was that Kaitlin might have something to do with it. And Chastain's, also is another witness. Kaitlin Armstrong said to her friend that she had described how Colin had cheated. While she was describing that, she had said in so many words that she wanted to kill her. So she told 2 friends that she wanted to kill. She would kill a woman who dated Colin Strickland, or in this case, she wanted to kill the girlfriend she wanted to kill Mo Wilson. She said that she had thought about it, but how she said it at the time, I didn't take it seriously. She said something to the effect that she had bought a gun. I do not know the words. I do know the words kill and the words gun were used. Right, but she had a gun that Colin Strickland gave to her, I thought. All right, I don't see any new information. State rests its case. Prosecutors have rested their case, and the court will now hear from the defense attorneys. The defense witness list is relatively short, and closing arguments could already begin this afternoon. This is going to be quick. So, fingerprint expert is the first witness for the defense. And I think we looked at this. All right, so there may be a little mix-up here with the prints, because it says she tells the court she realized there was an error when she was handed the prints because the label on the envelope didn't match the number of prints contained. The suggestion is that the accurate labels had been switched. Kaitlin Armstrong's prints were not found at the scene. Pineapple juice is a weak acid, will not erase fingerprints. We knew that. Okay, and this stuff we read. She was stone cold throughout the trial. DNA. The defense says that the DNA, because apparently they found her DNA on the bike, on Mo Wilson's bike. So the defense says, oh, well, maybe it transferred because Colin Wilson was trying it, and since I'm his girlfriend, it transferred that way. Like my DNA was on Colin Strickland, and then he used the bike. That's what they're arguing. The state redirects. Yeah, and then he gives his opinion that it's more likely to shed when someone is nervous and sweaty, but I can't say how Ms. Armstrong DNA got there. Okay. All right, I think we're up to date. Let me read this top part here. The two women were reportedly involved in a love triangle. The state rested its case Wednesday morning after introducing testimony from Strickland. Ms. Cash, friends of Ms. Armstrong, and law enforcement personnel, including a U.S. Marshal agent who aided in Ms. Armstrong's arrest overseas. Overseas. Look how they wrote overseas. It's supposed to be overseas. Over SEAS. And they put it arrest overseas. EES. All right. We know we're up to date, basically. Here's the article. I posted it yesterday, but this one is in backwards chronological order. And every time something happens regarding this trial, she'll add to the top. That's why it's in backwards chronological order. But there's the link. Oh my goodness, I'm falling asleep. So any questions or concerns? Oh, that's me. I'm right there. All right. So we're updated. The trial is probably still happening now as we speak, so you might decide to check up at the end of the night. It does make you doze off. It can be kind of boring, but it's intriguing. All right, but yeah, I am dozing off. Maybe I have a sugar high or something. Look at me. I'm ready to close my eyes. So I'm going to go to sleep, take a little nap. And okay, thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow. Bye.